Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are getting into two of the most powerful forces in any relationship, trust and betrayal. We're going to break down what they are, why they hit us so hard, and, maybe most importantly, how we can even begin to rebuild a connection after it's been shattered. Let's dive in.
Yeah, I think we all have, right? It's that universal feeling, that sharp, really personal pain when someone you count on just lets you down. It could be something small, or it could be something that completely changes a relationship forever. But why does it hurt so much?
The best way to think about it is like this. Trust is the invisible bridge connecting you to another person. It's what lets us feel safe, what lets us be close. So betrayal? That's the sudden, shocking collapse of that very bridge. But here's the good news. Science actually gives us a kind of blueprint for how to rebuild it. So, before we can even talk about rebuilding that bridge, we've got to understand what it was made of in the first place. Let's start with the foundation itself. Trust. What's so interesting is that trust isn't just some vague feeling, it's an actual belief. There was this psychologist, Julian Rotter, who figured out that this belief isn't just random. Nope, it's earned. It's built over time through one consistent, positive action after another. That right there is the bedrock that makes real intimacy possible. And if trust is the sturdy bridge, well then betrayal is the demolition crew. It's that one act that can just shatter that entire structure of safety you've built. A 2016 study just put it perfectly. Betrayal is a breach of the unspoken rules of a relationship, We expect a friend to keep our secret, we expect a partner to be loyal, and when they're not, it triggers more than just hurt feelings. It triggers real anger, because a fundamental rule has just been broken. Let's make this really real for a second. Picture Emma. Right? She finds out her partner, Liam, has been sending these intimate messages to someone else. Now, it might not be a physical thing, but it is still a massive violation of trust. And in that one moment, all the emotional safety in the relationship just crumbles. It's replaced by this gnawing anxiety and doubt. It's a truly devastating and honestly very common story. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It couldn't be more clear. One side builds safety, the other creates anxiety. One is earned through years of consistent action, the other can wipe all that out in a single moment. They really are the polar opposites in how we build our relationships. Okay, so why is that wound so deep? It's not just in our heads, not at all. Betrayal has a real, measurable impact on our brains and our bodies. Okay, get this. A 2020 report from Psychology Today found that people in high-trust relationships are up to 50% less likely to suffer from depression. That's huge. Trust literally acts as a protective shield for our mental health. And betrayal just rips that protection away. One study found that people who've gone through a major betrayal are a staggering 40% more likely to develop chronic anxiety. So that stress you feel, it's not just a feeling. It has real, long-term consequences. And here's where it gets even crazier. Betrayal literally makes it harder for you to think straight. That storm of emotions it kicks up can actually impair your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain that handles logic and decision-making. It's why, right after you've been hurt, you might make choices that, looking back, you kind of regret. Your brain is literally clouded. Okay, so we've seen the damage. It's real. But a collapsed bridge doesn't have to be the end of the line. So how do we start to rebuild? Let's get into the toolkit that science gives us. Researchers have actually mapped out a pretty clear 4-step path to repair. It absolutely has to start with total, no-holds-barred honesty from the person who broke the trust. Only then can a real, meaningful apology even be heard. From there, you move into the really hard work of gradual forgiveness and, finally, building new, honest lines of communication.
So what does a meaningful apology even sound like? Well, imagine your friend shared a secret you told them in confidence. A quick, oops, my bad, is not going to cut it. But an apology like this one, it works. Why? Because it hits 3 crucial points. It takes full responsibility, it shows they understand the hurt they caused, and it makes a concrete promise for the future.
Now, for the person who was betrayed, forgiveness is not a switch you can just flip. It's a journey. It has to start with just letting yourself feel that raw anger. Then, things like mindfulness can help you process that anger, moving you toward acceptance and then finally to release. And the key thing here is that forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the heavy burden of carrying all that pain.
So once that repair work has started, how do you make sure the new bridge is even stronger than the one that fell? Well, it all comes down to the small, daily things.
I think this is the biggest takeaway of all. Trust isn't built in some grand, heroic gesture. It's forged in the small, everyday moments. Keeping that tiny promise you made, putting your phone down and actually listening, being the person who shows up time and time again. Every single one of those actions is like another steel cable strengthening that bridge between you.
And that all leads us to this final, pretty provocative question. It's so easy to think of betrayal as just the end. But some research suggests that the couples and friends who actually navigate a betrayal with brutal honesty and hard work can come out the other side with a deeper, more resilient bond. By facing the break head-on, they build something totally new on a foundation of radical honesty. So what do you think? Is it really possible to build a stronger bridge in the exact spot where it once collapsed?